us here to God Almighty as a small group to God Almighty. Holy Ghost, Lord, that we're in your house tonight, dear God Almighty. We pray to God Almighty that you to dwell, to God Almighty, in the midst of this place. Holy Ghost Almighty, dear God Almighty, send your spirit, dear God Almighty, to take full control of us, dear God Almighty. Holy Ghost Almighty, dear God Almighty, I pray, dear God Almighty, that you have your way and take full control. As we give you thanks, give you praise, and give you glory, give you honor. Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen. All right, good evening, everyone. We want to thank you for joining us for another panel discussion here at the Holy Remnant Apostolic Church. Tonight, we're joined by a few of our younger youth. Last night, we had the females, and tonight, the males are going to be having a go at it. We're going to be discussing the topic of racism and its effects on young people. Now, it's a topic that a lot of times is strayed away from, because it can cause a few tensions to raise, but we're here tonight in a very safe space, and young men are going to be talking and engaging each other to see just how we feel about this and to understand that, because sometimes we think that we're the only ones holding certain feelings. And when we have forums such as this, it's an opportunity for us to voice our opinions and to realize that we also are being heard. And so we want to take the time out to acknowledge our host pastor, Reverend Dr. Williams, and thank him for this opportunity to gather and to discuss as young minds. We want to also greet our fellow ministers and all our leaders in their capacities. And of course, you, our viewers at home, thank you so much for joining us. All right, we're going to be having our discussion, but let's get to meet our panel. We're going to start with my left. Go ahead and introduce yourself, please.
So my name is Brother Justin.
Hello, my name is Brother Lamar.
Hello, my name is Brother Dwayne.
And as you should know, my name is Brother Jaber. We're going to be talking tonight, as I said, on a very crucial topic in this time. I'm sure you young men will agree. We've seen what's been happening in the news. We've seen, not just in the news, but even in our everyday lives, a very important topic, but let's get into it. And I want to ask you, before we get into it, what do you define racism to be? We're going to start with Justin.
Okay, so for me personally, based on what I'm seeing and what I've seen in the media and heard from my friends and stuff like that, I would define racism as one race seeing itself superior to another race. So that's what I feel like is racism.
Mr. Lamar, how about you?
What I like to say about racism is that the only difference between racism now and racism then is that, well, it's more modified now. Everything is caught on camera now. So as is back then, the technology wasn't like what it is now. Racism it's been going on for how long now? For hundreds of years. Going all the way back to Martin Luther King and Malcolm X times, and going on till now. And in all honesty, to me, it's been really frustrating, especially on the passing away of George Floyd. That took the cake for me, because I'm going to be honest, I was frustrated. I've never been so frustrated. And racism to me, it's kind of like a empowerment thing when it comes to different races and of this world. So it's something that needs to be addressed, and it needs to be a change.
I agree with that. And Dwayne, how about you? What do you think racism is?
Racism, well, to me, of course, racism is trying to uphold one race and discriminate and destroy the other in terms of we are superior to you. It's discriminating one race and putting prejudice and stipulations on one race to make another race look better, in a sense, you know? But for example, it's like, right now, us black people, you're always labeled, oh, you're not good looking, or you're pretty, or you're good looking for a black person. That's stereotypical, and that's like ignorant, that's blissful ignorance, like what? So, racism is, to me, is looking at someone and judging them by the color of their skin and putting stipulations onto them and thinking, oh, and putting all the stereotypes onto them. That's what racism means to me.
All right. And I like the way you put it. It's about putting your own stipulations and your own ideas on someone else. But I'm going to ask you another question. I know that oftentimes we claim to be the victim of racism, but do you think that maybe you have a small hint of racism in yourself? I know it's a very tricky question, you know, because oftentimes we say, oh, well, I'm here for black lives and this and that, but we said that racism is about having prejudices and discrimination. And one thing I liked about the ladies last night is that they said, if you want to see the change, you have to start within. So we're going to be examining ourselves before we even dive into the topic. And I want to ask you guys, do you honestly think you've ever been at the place where you hold racist views against somebody else? Let's start with you, Louis.
I'm not gonna lie, I've had some times where I put some racism onto people, like, oh man, like, for example, us as black people, we don't like to say, but we always go for like certain races, like for example, Indian people too, per se. They always say, oh, look at them, look at how they stink and everything. But realistically, they don't mind. They don't care. They don't care less because they're living their life and they're happy doing it. But black people, to them, it's like, they always think of a big fuss. To me personally, you don't grow up being racist. It's taught to you in a system. Because no one just grows up and says, oh, I don't like that race. It's taught to you when you're young. But that's just me personally.
That's very true, you know. No one is born a racist. No one is born to discriminate. Because the truth is, if you put two kids in the same room, they won't be able to acknowledge, hey, I'm black and you're white. To them, you're my friend. We are going to exist together. And so it is something that is taught. But how about you, Lamar? Do you think that you probably hold any racist views about somebody else?
Yes, in all honesty. But I just like to go off on what Dwayne said. Yes, it's not taught to you. I mean, it is taught to you, but it's not genetic. You're not born with it. And what for myself, I was going to use the same example what Dwayne used. What in this case it comes with driving.
Amen to that.
In all honesty, because of what I've seen, most of the accidents even occurred with myself. It was from an Indian race. I love all my people. I love all races, in all honesty. But again, I'm not saying this right, but that's what me personally I've been going through. And again, it's not right. It's not right at all, and I'm working on it myself. But that's just the honesty.
Brother Justin, how about you?
Okay, personally for me, I didn't have the pleasure of growing up in Canada, so culturally I feel like it has to do with the culture, your social location, where you're located. For me personally, I'm from the Caribbean, from Jamaica to be specific. Back in Jamaica, we don't have racism, we have what we call classism and colorism. So it's about if you're affluent, you're wealthy rather, in the Jamaican society, then you're seen superior. And colorism now is based on how fair the complexion of your skin, how fair you look, right? The fairer you are, is the more beautiful you are, and with that you have more access to a lot of stuff when you are more fairer and you have more wealth, right? So migrating to Canada like 4 or 5 years ago, I went right into school, and one of the core principles, so I'm actually a social work student, right? So one of the core principles of social work is that we have to learn how to check our undue biases. So when it comes down to biases, we have to examine those internalized mind view that we have of ourselves and other people's too, and and we have to, within the field of social work, we have to check those, and we have a duty to make sure that our thoughts are in line with what we call inclusivity and equity and equality. So all those things are called into questions when we actually look at the social work field. So for me personally, I've never had the experience of feeling or looking at another race and to say, oh, I'm better than you, or my race is better than you because, right? So I've never had that experience. So if you speak to like colorism and classism, well, that's a whole different story. I have a lot to say on that, but for me personally, no.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because the truth is, even within our own community as black people, there's a lot of shadeism, colorism, where we think that, well, I mean, the truth is, in some people's mind, if myself and Dwayne go into the same room, automatically preference would be given to Dwayne. I mean,
that's right.
Debatable. But that is something that a lot of us in society have to be honest about, that we ourselves are biased, we ourselves have certain prejudices. And I believe it was Martin Luther King who said that hate can't drive out hate. It takes love to do that. And if we're going to be talking about racism, and if we're going to be trying to find the change and to be the voice of the difference, we have to first examine ourselves. How inclusive are we when we see someone else who is not of our race? We are in a church that is predominantly black, but let's say we're supposed to have a Caucasian pastor come 1 week and share. Would we feel as comfortable? Would we be as receptive? Because we're asking other people to include us, and we are expecting now to have a double standard where we think that, okay, because I am of this color and because I'm of this race, I've been oppressed long enough. But the truth is that you can't fight one thing with the same thing. I have a bottle of water here. If I'm trying to get the water out, I'm not going to add more water into it, hoping that the water will be displaced. That doesn't make any sense. You have to put a new substance in it. So we're hoping that having this discussion, us as 4 young men, we want to start with ourselves. We want to start with our church community and hope that we can start the difference. To say, okay, fine, we don't like racism. We see that it is a very present situation that needs our attention, but what can we do to make the difference? All right, I want to ask you another question. So, we are here in Canada, in a multicultural country, one where we see many different races, many different ideologies, but have you yourselves ever been the victim of any particular racist event? Or did you see someone else, and you witnessed it, someone else being treated in a racist way? Let's start with you, Lamba.
Yes, I have, and I'd just like to start off with an example with school. So it was my last year, and I was going through placement. My last year, finished this year, I graduated. So I was placed in a placement at a retirement home, and one of the supervisors there, she was white, and to be honest, I was the only black person there, period. So it was me and another student. There was another white girl. We were in the same classes, the same course, everything, same placement. So we were there. We were doing our duties. Well, in this case scenario, I was doing my duties. But again, this is where racism came about, where I was doing all my work, and because of the racism and favoritism, the other girl wasn't doing anything, and I was end up doing my work and her work, and I was interacting with all the elderlies there, and I was doing activities with them, talking with them, getting to know them. So they were really close to me. So I built a lot of relationships with all the clients there. So then I got a call one week, and it was from my supervisor from my placement, and she said she wanted to meet with me. So I came down to the office. went to her office and we discussed, and she's like, "Oh, so this is what's been happening. The supervisor at your place has been telling me you haven't been doing work, and et cetera, et cetera." So I told her that that's not true. You can ask. I showed her all my reports and of me and the clients and what we discussed and all that. So told her I showed her proof that that's not the case. So then she said, "You've been released." So I wasn't able, because it was so close to the end of the school year, I ended up not graduating. I ended up not finishing that term, which I had to finish up the next year. So again, I'm using that as an example because, again, racism is still out there. And because of the color of my skin, that's what came about with the situation. And when I did my research, my friend, he graduated a year before me. He said he did placement at that same location, and he said that the same thing happened to him. So that's where I got my confirmation that yes, it's a racism thing. So that's my example.
How about you, Brother Justin? Have you ever experienced racism since being here, or even back home?
Racism since I've been in. No, I personally have never experienced racism being here in Canada. As I said before, I'm in the social work field, right? And going to school every day, we're challenged to examine, as I said before, our biases. And personally, being in a classroom of aspiring social workers, then you're not gonna probably see that on the forefront, right? I don't know if persons might be thinking stuff, but personally, I've never had that experience. As it relates to racism in Jamaica, I've not experienced racism in Jamaica before either. I'm somewhat to myself, so I'm not too much out there in the public as much, right? So I've never had that experience. However, I can speak to the fact that I've seen racism in the media. I have seen racism right here in Canada. I have seen systematic racism as well. I have seen racism in the United States. It's rampant. I can definitely speak to what I've seen, but personally, I have not personally experienced racism. To speak on, but I can speak on experiences of other people that I've seen experience racism.
And that's an important point also, because a lot of people will say, well, I've never experienced racism, and so I'm going to stay silent on the issue. But I like the fact that even though you personally haven't experienced it, you're able to pinpoint and say, well, I've seen it here, I've seen it there. Yeah. And I think it's that sense of awareness that us as a society, we need to make sure we develop. To say, well, even if it is not my issue, I see that someone else, a fellow human being, is having a problem, so let me come in and share my 2 cents. And so I appreciate that though you haven't personally experienced it, you can identify it, which is a very crucial part. How about you, Louis? Have you ever experienced it for yourself?
Oh boy, where do I start? Oh man. You guys can agree with me if it's happened to you. Have you guys, it happened to me when you go into the elevator and the lady grabs her purse and tries to cover it to the side. I've been followed in a store, more likely a convenience store, just followed around the aisles to make sure I'm not stealing anything. I've been pulled over by police because I, quote unquote, fit the description, and they think I stole the car because when they see a black guy driving a nice car, they automatically assume, oh, how'd you get that? Or they probably stole it, right? And just even in school itself, the amount of eyes you get, and there's people, it's mind-boggling how, as a black man, people are so shocked, and racism is still rampant in today's society. You try to be good, and it's like they put this label on you that you're not supposed to be good. You're supposed to be like dirt, like every other person. You're from the hood. You can't be polish it. Yeah, it's like degrading. Like, oh wow, okay, so you guys put me into a bracket. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We have to realize that a lot of times, even the whole issue with police officers, I personally have experienced that. I remember last year, around about our pastor's appreciation time, I was trying to get a nice little suit. If y'all saw, the suit, it looked nice. And I had what did you just collect? And I think there are certain assumptions that are made just because you fit the description, as you just said. And so, what is the description? Is it simply because of the color of my skin? Because even though I am a very proud black man, I really embrace my culture, there is more to me than simply being black. And we need to understand that we can't just put a label on somebody because they fit a description without having any further evidence. Go ahead.
Exactly. Like they don't see us like. To me, growing up, I realize now is that they don't see you as a person. As soon as they see a color, they just put that label on you, and it sticks. Like for as long from the day you're born from the cradle until the day you're in the grave, that it just sticks on you as a label. That's what I feel.
I mean, we are black. We are who we are, and it's so unfortunate, but there is a stigma that is attached to our race and to us having a particular shade or a particular ethnicity, which has been broken down. Go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. I certainly agree with you. Even the media does play a role in racism, or in enhancing racism. I would, for a lack of word. If you look in the media, blacks are portrayed as angry, and the expectation too is that we should not express ourselves. And last night I was watching the panels with the young ladies, and they were saying, you know what, if a black woman gets upset, then you're an angry black woman. But the same is never said for a Caucasian woman. When she gets upset, you've never heard, oh, it's an angry white woman. So it's like a stigma, as you put it, is attached to being black, and sometimes we have to call these things out. You have to call it out for what it is. You cannot call a fart a spoon, right? So you have to call it out for what it is. If you're judging someone based on the color of their skin, and all what you're saying indicates that you are saying that you are better than. And I feel like, not only that, I feel like it's a psychological control when Caucasian or people in the place from places of power speaks and say, oh, blacks are not supposed to do this, blacks are not supposed to do that, blacks are supposed to act this way, blacks are supposed to act that way. And the moment you act out of accordance to what is perceived, then there's a stigma attached to you, like you're the worst of the worst. But I feel like it's psychological control. It's like a train. It's like they're using that to repress black people. You can't express your emotions anymore. The moment you try to express that you're angry, you're black, you're gonna shoot someone, you're gonna do this. It's always the negative that they resort to as soon as you start expressing yourself. But it's never said for Caucasians, right?
It's very true. There are lots of prejudices, and the truth is we are invited to run a race where the race started years ago, and we're just being invited into the stadium. We're not even into the stadium yet to start running. But the assumption is already made that, okay, well, you're black, so I'll put you in this box, and don't you dare come out of it. I'm going to put you right here, and you're going to stay right there and be who I tell you to be. Because the truth is, even if they don't directly come out and say, well, don't do this, don't do that, there is systemic racism. There are situations and certain limitations that are placed on us as people of color. And we have to now find ways of escaping that. Now, one statement that, I guess the tagline for all of these protests and rebellion, if you would, against racism is that Black Lives Matter. And I want to ask you guys, when you hear or see the statement Black Lives Matter, what does that mean to you? Let's start with you, Miguel.
So what the statement Black Lives Matter to me is, well, I just have to start off with saying some people, I've been seeing it on social media, I've been seeing it on the news, they were portraying it as, oh, you guys are only saying that your lives only matter, it's all lives matter. No, we're not saying that. Yes, all lives matters, but in this particular morning, we're saying it's us that are getting punished and getting killed and getting mistreated. So in this case, our lives matter. We're saying our lives matter as well. So yes, all lives matter, but at the end of the day, not all lives are the ones that's getting in police brutalities, and not all lives are going through racism like us as Black people. And yes, there's racism in other races, but then again, ours is publicity. Ours is in the public. Ours is what's going through, has been going on for generation to generation. So that's what I'm saying. Black Lives Matter is, it's a movement, yes, but it's a movement in a positive way. Like,
to add to your statement too, like, yeah, Black Lives Matter. When people say all lives matter, to your statement is true. Because how can all lives matter if Black lives are not being helped? To me, all lives don't matter until Black lives matter. That's point blank period. Because the amount of, to me personally, I see nothing wrong with the protest. They're just trying to get their point across. Because too many times has this happened before. It's been going through so many times, a peaceful protest, and it always ends on a cry on deaf ears. People just think, they'll just have a little protest and they'll go away. And over time, it grows from Trayvon Martin. Who else got passed away? Trayvon Martin. George Floyd. And it goes right down. And people don't think they were gonna riot. Or, to me, their situation, there's only one thing that happened. A certain person, Martin Luther King, he tried to fight so we can fight against the racism. And when he did a peaceful protest, look what happened to him. He got assassinated, all because he wanted to try to help. And look at that. The peaceful protests don't work. So, what can you do when you can't do anything at all?
We're going to jump on that, but let me ask Justin. When we say Black Lives Matter, what does that statement mean to you?
Personally, for me, I believe when one uses the word Black Lives Matters, it is drawing attention to the issues of the Black community. For certain, all lives do matter, but it's the issues that are current that we're actually talking about. And we're talking about Black men are dying like dogs, right? They're dying left, right, and center. And that's happening right now. So when the word or the phrase is used, Black Lives Matter, it's just drawing attention to the issues of the Black community. 400 years of slavery, which other races have been enslaved, like the Black race. The Black, it brings about what we would call in the social service world historical trauma. So it's this trauma passing down from generation to generation, 400 years, 500 years of those trauma being passed on. So I had the pleasure of speaking with someone yesterday, and they were like, "Oh, I'm Black, but I feel like I'm not affected, and I feel like this is too much. Like the whole Black Lives Matter movement is too much." But I'm like, even though it is too much, it's highlighting the fact that you cannot tell people that they're not suffering. These people are experiencing these things. And what I tend to find out is that the persons who tend to say stuff like that who are Black, they haven't really have lived experiences of racism. You've never had real life experiences of someone hunting on your brother and shooting your brother. You've not had real experiences of someone coming into your house and shooting your mother. You don't have that experience of someone lighting a cross on your front lawn. You don't have those experiences, so you can't identify. But we're not asking for you to identify. We're asking you to have the empathy to understand that these people are struggling, even though it's not your pain, but you have to look from, use a lens of empathy and understanding to see what your brother is going through. When you're saying that I don't see and I don't feel, it's like you're dismissing that your brother is going through something, and you cannot do that, right? It's not your pain, so you cannot dismiss another person's pain because you don't share the same point of view. So sometimes I feel like as black people within the community, we have to be more sensitive to the issues of black people. You may not, I have not have a personal experiences with racism or have that lived experience, but I can identify, and not just identify, but I can have empathy. I understand where it's coming from. I understand where we have seen other people's losing their brothers, your husbands, your wife because of racism. I have seen even the great Martin Luther King. What happened with Martin Luther King? He died, right? They killed him. What was it for? What was the reason behind him being dead, right? So when people talk about, oh, I don't see the issue of race, I don't see this, oh, I'm black and I don't feel that way. Well, there's thousands of, hundreds of people who passed away fighting so we could have the opportunity to say that, oh, I don't see this, I don't feel this. Because those who have gone before us have paid that way, and they paid the ultimate price with their lives, right?
Sure. You use the statement that they're killing black people like dogs, but I don't even think we're like dogs, to be honest, because dogs are more innocent, it seems. Because the truth is, if you're driving and you see a goose passing you, hit the goose, you go to jail same time. But you kill a black man in the street, excuse me for saying this, and then you get to walk off with a slap on the wrist. And so I think when we say Black Lives Matter, it's not to say all lives don't matter. It's not to say white lives don't matter and Hispanic. We are taught that white lives matter. Because the system is already designed in a way to show us that when we say Black Lives Matter, when we emphasize that, hey, us as black people, we matter too. We're saying we need a seat at the table too. We've been treated as being less than human, and in order for us to have a human community, in order for us to exist in our society, we also have to have a voice. Agreed? Good. Now, with you touched it just now, by the way, with George Floyd's death and the protests that have been going on, we've seen a lot of times where it has taken, sad to say, a very negative approach. We've seen people resorting to violence. We've seen stores being looted and stuff like that. But what do you guys have to say about that? Do you think it's justified? Do you think that it's extreme? What are your thoughts on the trajectory that the riots and the resistance have taken? Let's start with you.
So basically, back to what I said, what can you do? There's nothing you can do it. You basically do what you can. I'm all for the protest, but the looting, honestly, I'm not for the looting, but if it gets the point across, it's not, I mean, what can you do, right? The thing about the looting, to me, is that it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, you're going riots, but what's the point behind it? That same place you can be rioting and looting could be owned by a fellow black person. It could be their livelihood, and you just ruined it for them. It just it makes you look stupid and foolish. Like you're trying to prove a point, but at the same time, you're just literally giving them to you, like, yeah, look at that. You're literally proving our point. You guys don't respect each other, and you want us to respect you. Like it's crazy, man. It's wild.
I 1000% agree. But I just like to touch up on that. Us as black people, we're angry, right? We're mad, we're angry. But one of our fellow brothers got killed right on camera, begging for his life, saying, I can't breathe, they're going to kill me, and begging for water and asking, begging me, pleading for his life. I understand the anger. I'm experiencing it still. I'm angry as well, but at the same time, the way they go about with the looting, I don't condone that because there's other ways to get your point across, right? Tearing down the stores and such forth. I'm not against that, but at the end of the day, I understand how they feel. Because at the end of the day, it's all about feelings. We're reacting off of feelings, but at the same time, we gotta keep a level minded. We can't stoop down to their level. That's what I'm trying to get at. And yeah, we're not saying not to feel angry. Yes, 1000% you should feel angry. You should feel the way you're feeling. It's normal. But there's certain ways we can go about it.
Yes, that's why I agree with you. Even though, like, yeah, you're looting and you're ruining people's businesses that they work so hard to maintain. It could be your fellow brother, like they put their all into it. At the same time, you did the peaceful protests. They don't get you far. So if this is the way to get their voice heard and to make riots, throw over buses, cause mayhem and utter chaos to get their voice across, hey man, it's justified. That's what I think.
Understood. I understand that. And again, I'm not disagreeing with you. I agree with you 100%. Again, yeah, if it gets your point across, then that's what it has to be. But then, like I said, history shows peaceful protesters haven't worked. And when us as black people try to do a peaceful protest, it goes to a negative direction because violence ends up occurring regardless. So in our back of our minds, why don't we fight into violence, right?
All right, Brother Justin, how about you just chiming on this further? What do you think about the you seem deep in thought there, but what are your thoughts about the route that the protests have been taking?
No, I must draw attention to my brother's opinion, and they're very powerful business, To go back to Martin Luther King Jr., he used one of the phrase. He used a phrase. He said, "A riot is the language of the unheard." And that's not justification. I condemn violence in every form, but that's not justifying the behavior of the people. It's explaining why they're doing the things that they're doing. Yeah, violence at all levels is wrong. I don't encourage violence, but if you're provoked daily, if someone, as much as we have Christ on the inside, if someone, I remember, was it Peter, I remember when they came with Jesus, Peter took his knife out and he cut someone, right? He cut someone. So I'm saying, when you're put in a position where you're provoked daily, and I'm saying this is history, it's generation on top of generation, and the issues are born and it's deep rooted. And when you tell someone not to act, it's hard for them to protest peacefully. But I understand where they're coming from with as Martin Luther King highlighted. A riot is the language of the unheard. These people feel like their voices are not being heard. And what happens if I'm speaking probably with one of you brothers and I'm talking to you over and over and over and over again, and it's like you're ignoring what I feel like I might do something drastic, and you might not like it. It might not be the preferred method, but it gets the point across, right? So if you look at history too, there has been a non-violent protest and all of that. How did slavery get abolished though? It wasn't through a civil war. It wasn't done peaceful. It was by bloodshed. All is fair in love and war. So at times it's not the most preferable way to go about getting things done. But if you look at the oppressors, they took what they took from black people by force. They never asked anyone's permission. They never needed anyone's permission. But the moment black people do a simple thing, oh, you're the worst. Really? Look at history.
You're right. Still, you're right. You have a point. I agree with you. Because me, I call myself a pacifist. I don't like war or violence. I prefer the peace. But to me, I would agree with them because I think you guys seen the video. I mean, who hasn't seen the video? The way how he had his knee on George Floyd's neck, it's like he hunted and he found the animal. You know how you take a picture of an animal you hunted and you just kill them? Like he was proud of it. Like he is the law. Like there's no repercussions. Like he knew what he did, but he just didn't care. Like, oh, I'm like he was like he's proud of it. Like he just at that point, that's where like I can tell as black people like they had enough. Like if you're able to be that bold and to have your knee on another person's neck and feel like, oh, I'm this and that. Like they don't. It's gone to the point where they don't care. It's like a slap on the wrist. Like at this point, sometimes I feel like if they were to shoot somebody, like a black guy, of course, the people was friendly fire, and you know, and of course, the court or the government would be like, oh, he said it's friendly fire, so case dropped. So I feel it.
Have you guys all seen the video that we're talking about with George Floyd? Have you seen it?
I've seen Smith, like little portions, not the entire thing.
I think I agree to some extent with what Dwayne was saying just now because I saw a part of the video. Honestly, I couldn't bring myself to watch the entire thing, but I think why a lot of people are so frustrated is that it's a blatant disregard for human life, and there comes a point where you have to ask, when is enough enough? Because if I commit a crime, first of all, I am innocent until proven guilty, and I don't think he was allowed that chance. But even beyond that, fine, you're arresting him, but how is it that you feel comfortable with your knee in someone's neck, and you're there for not just 1 minute, not just... So it then moves beyond a reasonable approach, and now we see where you're there for almost 9 minutes with your hand in your pocket, showing that the guy didn't resist it. And you're there, just basically, as you said, he's basically showing off and saying, well, I've already done it, so what is there? What else? What's going to come out of this? And I think it's been generations of this happening. And whereas we are not enforcing or encouraging violence, I do agree to some extent that a time comes when people have enough. Right? Brother Justin mentioned how slavery ended. And even if you trail back to the Caribbean, many of our viewers are from Caribbean descent. When people had enough and the slaves had enough, even in Jamaica we had the Morant Bay Rebellion. And it was a point where people said, okay, enough is enough. You're not hearing my opinion, you're not listening to what I'm saying, and so I'm going to the field. I'm going to do what I have to do to be heard. And it's so unfortunate that in 2020, when we're all for equal rights, and women are now employed and empowered, and if you're of another orientation, then you are empowered to do your thing. But when does the black man get his voice? And I think that is why a lot of people are so irate and so just overwhelmed. But I think we also have to find other ways of dealing with our issues. Right? We have to learn how now to bring our voice without bring everything else that comes with us. But seeing that it was a police officer who was involved in the scenario, I want to ask you guys, has this or any other event that you've witnessed, has it caused you to have a different outlook on law enforcement? Has it at all caused you to be like, how do you view law enforcement now? Go ahead, Wade.
To me, I always thought the system was corrupt, in a sense, and this just basically, like, it was the nail in the coffin for me. Like, after, usually, most of the deaths, basically, from Trayvon Martin Mike Brown, to the, I'm sorry, I don't remember the lady's name, but she was in her house, and the police burst through her door and gunned her down. And from there on out, from here, it's like, as a black man, it takes a psychological effect on you. Like, you go, before you go out the door, you're wondering, wow, I hope God protects me. You really have to pray every day. This is what prayer is good, you know? You have to, before you go out there, you're wondering, you have to think, yo, this could be my last time going out through these doors. You never know, like, this could be me going out there and I can never come back. Or come back in a body bag. It like psychologically messes you up, makes you like fearful of the police. The people that, it's funny because they're supposed to be there to protect you. And they're the ones killing you. So when you can't go to the people that are supposed to protect you because they're killing you, who do you go to? Who can you go to? There's no one you can go to. Like, if I can't go to the people that are in power and their purpose is to protect and serve, but yet they're killing me, who am I supposed to go to? It makes me fearful. Like, it's bad enough as a black man, you see police and police come around the corner, you're like, oh crap. Like, you're going on the road, you're like, here we go again. Now it's just like, oh man, you're making sure everything's like, you don't put suspicion onto yourself. It's crazy because I was thinking a few days, I was talking to my mother, and I'm like, you can't, look at Trayvon Martin wearing a hoodie, people thought he was a criminal, killed him. What was it, Aubrey? I think Aubrey? He went for a jog, got gunned down. It's like, to me, it's like, dang. Anything I do outside this house, every day I'm contemplating, I'm playing Russian roulette going out the house, wondering, yo, am I gonna come back? Yo, like, this could be my last day. Real talks.
Any other guys wanna chime in? How are you? Has this caused you to have a negative outlook, or has it changed your outlook on law enforcement?
Yes, it has, 100%. I don't know where to start. There's so much going on in my mind. I'm trying to figure out where to start. And yes, we can't even leave our house. We're leaving our house in fear, wondering, oh, are we going to make it back home? Are we going to see our families again? Am I going to be, if we have children, are we going to ever see our children again? Are we going to be able to go back to our children, our families, our wives if we're married? And it's sad because we're living in a life of fear from the law enforcement that are supposed to be enforcing the law, serve and protect, and to be our protectors on the streets and of this world. But then again, we're living a life where we're fearful of law enforcement, which is, it doesn't make sense to me because we have these people that are supposed to be doing their jobs and protecting and serving the streets, but yet they're the ones that are doing the stuff that they're supposed to be protecting and serving us from. And it's so funny though, I'm thinking, what if my skin color was Caucasian? I could be able to get the treatment, but seeing that I'm the ebony, I can't get the same treatment. And it's so funny, I'm gonna use an example where one time it was around 9:30, close to 10 o'clock at night, I went to go buy a box of pizza. I got pulled over by the cops. I was walking, and I got pulled over, and the cop said, "Where are you coming from?" I'm holding a box of pizza. I looked at the box of pizza. I'm like, officer, I'm going back home. I just went to go pick up a box of pizza, and he's telling me, "Well, what are you doing out here at this time of night?" I didn't know you were my father. I understand that you're law enforcement, but you're not my father. I can be out any time I want. So, he's telling me I look suspicious. I'm like, why? Because of my skin color? Why do I look suspicious? For what? I don't know what you're talking about or what's going on, but I just went to go get a box of pizza and to go back home. That's it. And it really triggers me that I can't even leave my house to get food without being ridiculed by the police.
Okay, my perception of the law enforcement, the system itself, I just see them as glorified gangsters. That's all I see, gangsters. And I feel like the government has given them so much power. It gets, power, it gets you to, it does something to you. You remember that scripture where Jesus was saying, you know what, it's better than a camel to pass through the eye of the needle for a rich man. That money and power, it gets you, it does something psychologically to you. And I feel like when you give a person that much power, something happens psychologically, right? Especially if you don't have Christ on the inside, it messes you up and it opens you up to the adversary, right? And you're easily influenced. So my perception of the law enforcement, the entire system, I think they need to hold them to when they step out of line. I feel like there should be policies that judge them really strictly, because you're the one who's supposed to be serving and protecting and enforcing, but yet you're just seeing one who is destroying, and you go against everything that you vowed. I feel like policies need to come in place where it really attack those issues, right? And really hold those our law enforcement officers accountable, like really strict laws. Like, I'm not talking about the average person. You're not an average person. You're given a lot of power, and with great power comes great responsibility. So the policies that goes behind that to ensure that you're following and you're doing the things that you're supposed to be doing should be stricter. That's how I feel about the entire system of the law enforcement.
What a day we're living in when the upcoming generation, the future, has basically lost hope in the system, have said that, well, I'm gonna be arrested nonetheless, so what's the point? The people who are supposed to be protecting me are not there to do their job, and we have to have these discussions, and I invite our viewers to even have these discussions with your very own children, if you have any, because hope is being lost, and if we can't depend on our leaders, and we can't depend on those who are put in power, there was a saying that says absolute power corrupts absolutely, and it's very true, because sometimes we expect them to be those who are going to be protecting and serving and be the one standing up for us. But what a day we're coming in when we can't even trust the police anymore. We can't trust those who are supposed to be up there, because I said this at the beginning that there are certain prejudices that are already established in our society. Because if you go into a courtroom and you see two men standing, one white, one black, the automatic assumption is that the black one's the criminal, the white one's the lawyer. Because our society has painted such a negative picture of the black race, and I was talking to someone on Sunday and they said, well, the fact that you're black means you're going to have to work 2 times as hard, 10 times as hard, thank you for the correction, 10 times as hard to even match up with your opponents. And it's so unfortunate, and it's really unfair. Because why should I have to push myself to go? I mean, it's good to have ambition, it's good to work hard, but why is it that I have to be the underdog, be the one that is deemed to not be successful simply for the color of my skin, simply because I am born black? This is not something that we control, but we're coming down, and we've uttered our frustrations and we've said the things that we hold deep, but going forward, we are the future. We are the ones who are going to be growing up now in the society and potentially making change. What are certain things that you yourselves would like to see being done differently in our system, in our society, so that this issue isn't perpetuated? Are there any things that you personally would like to see change? We're going to start with doing and work our way down.
The things I would like to see. Obviously change, of course, because with change in itself, that's what all we need, man. We need equality. As black people, we need to have the same standards as white people. At the same time, because it's not just because of the color we have. We're people too. We struggle just as much as white people at the same time. We're human beings too. So all we need is change and certain messages that are being portrayed across. For example, if you guys watch Looney Tunes, Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck when they're being hunted by Elmer Fudd, there's a way, if you guys really watch the cartoon, it's like Elmer Fudd's always shooting Daffy but never Bugs. And I watched that and I'm like, interesting. Never shot Bugs, but Daffy, because Daffy's a black and just keep shooting at him. Always ignoring Bugs. So me personally, I would say the media, like, the change the cartoons, because it's simple things that just clicks, like cartoons and certain TV shows, like, like the message they portray. That would be a good start. And not destroying the stigma from when, and even destroying the stigmas from when kids are born, and instilling into their head, like, don't talk to that kid over there, or see that kid over there? He's not gonna be nothing. He's gonna be nothing when he's older. It's like, wow. So I'd say, like, to change racism, people would have to change, and the message would be across, like, in a sense, like, that's the message that we have to pay across.
I would like to see change, but at the same time, change has to start from within us and as us as a black community. Because as you see in this world sometimes, I've seen it all the time, us as black people, we like to tear down other black people. And we want change, we want we want the world to be able to acknowledge us as equal, but at the same time, it has to start from within our community. We have to uplift ourselves too. So we want the changes, we want the racism to stop, but at the same time, we're tearing down each other as well. We are a part of that as well. So the change has to start from with us on top of that.
Sorry, brother, my FT. That's a good example, because another example would be like how black people have to tear each other down. It's funny. A black person will start a business, and you know what the first thing I felt a black person will say? Where's my discount? Or they'll never want to pay full price. Am I wrong?
All the time.
But let that be an Asian person's store or a white people's store. They're paying full price plus tax, plus tip. But let that be plus the tip, just for good measure. But let that be a black person. I'll pay you back tomorrow. Tomorrow turns into next week. Next week turns into 2 weeks. 2 weeks turns into a month. At that point, just forget it. Keep it.
It's true. Goes for myself as well. But again, it has to start from us as a community. It has to start from with us. So we want in order for change to go in a positive direction as a whole in the world, it has to start from with us first. We have to be able to hold each other accountable for our actions as well, to be able to rejuvenate and change. So yes, we want the racism to start, but we got to start from us too as a community. So we got to stand up strong and to uplift ourselves and to uplift others around us and not to tear each other down.
For me personally, I believe, I feel like, speaking directly to the issue of race and systematic racism, I feel like we have to start from the top. And we're talking about inclusivity, and we're talking about equality and equity. And I'm not talking about having boards with 10 Caucasian and 1 black person. That's not diversity. We need to have open the gates for other black people to come on board, and because the persons who are making policies, because it's the policies that hurts us, it's the policies that creates the systemic oppression of black people. We need to have diversity when it comes on to making decisions, to making policies, and I feel like we have to start with the policies. We have to start with the persons who are at the top, right? We have to open the door for other races to come in and not Caucasian, because sometimes I feel like to get to the top as a person, a Caucasian person, it's more easier to get to the top, and it's more easier to lead an organization than for a black man, a black young man. You know, so many obstacles. You have to do this, you have to do that, and then when you've done all that you can, then you're told, oh no, you have to do this again, and then you have to do that. But you're like, why is this Caucasian person not doing all? And you have a lot of black talented black men and women who is in the community, and persons are going to say, oh, why is it that we don't have they're there, but no one's following them or giving them the opportunity to be on the boards. So I feel like we need to start at the top, because those persons that has power, those are the ones who actually create these policies that actually hurt communities and hurt marginalized communities at that.
100%. Well, we've heard quite a bit tonight. I really wish time would allow us to go a bit longer, but we're going to cut it here for tonight. Hopefully this is a conversation that doesn't end here though, because even though the stream is about to end, society still continues. And so we invite you, as I said earlier, parents, have this discussion with your children. We can have it within our church also. Have the discussion going, because our young minds are troubled, but they also have solutions. You heard it just now from our policies, from us including each other, from us being careful of the media that we're watching. They also, you'll be surprised to know just how much young people are affected, and also their minds would just cause you to go into disarray because they have so much within them. And I'm really grateful, as I said earlier, for us to have this opportunity to come together as 4 young men in such a crucial time to let our voices be heard. And we want to thank you very much for being with us tonight. And we hope that the discussion will not just end here, as I said earlier, but let us close our eyes and pray and just trust that God will have His way, because that's the only help we can find in this time. Amen? Let us pray. Our eternal God and Heavenly Father, we come before you, O God, to give you thanks, to give you praise, to give you glory. We thank you that, O God, though these times are uncomfortable, though sometimes these conversations, O God, are uncomfortable, you have given us wisdom, you have given us, O God, this opportunity, this platform, O God, to let our voices be heard, realizing that though we might be young, though we might feel marginalized, O God, our voices still matter. We pray that, Lord God, you will replenish every young person that has spoken tonight, and even those who have been silent. I pray that, Lord God, will give them the boldness to stand up and to let their beliefs show forth, O God. Even in these times when we are separated in body, I pray that our spirits will be unified, and that we'll be able, O God, to continue to seek your face for wisdom in this time. Not just to act based off emotion or to act based off how we feel, but to do what you have instructed us to do. For that is still our reasonable service. We pray, God, that you'll continue to be with us. Guide our footsteps as we leave this place tonight, as we give you all the glory, the honor, and the praise. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen. Thank you very much for joining us, and we hope you have a good